the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bob Cage, and I'm Terry.
And I'm Jim, in the snowy, beautiful holiday season kind of community you got going here.
A touch of winter.
A touch of winter.
Just a breath. Enough to cover the grass. Yeah. Looks white. Kind of nice.
You can keep it.
Okay. I had to shovel it. I like to do the first snowfall, and if it's a light snowfall, I like to actually push the shovel and just move the stuff around, just to say that I still can shovel snow, along with other things.
Yeah, that's not my priority. I don't any more than I want to push a lawnmower. Cheers, Terry.
Cheers. This is a clink clink.
Yep.
It's still got Bailey's in it. We're celebrating Jim's album release. And that Bailey's in the coffee. Not often in the morning are we doing this. So this is a celebration.
Yes. I can't come home.
Jim's going to be here for lunch, so he'll take it off. Okay. Lots of things to talk about in terms of Canada. There was a G20 meeting that you may have heard about. And you may have heard some controversy regarding our own Prime Minister, whether you like him or not, and his encounter up close and very personal with Xi Jinping of China.
I didn't hear it.
Oh my goodness!
No. So
okay, I've been glued to this.
Xi Jinping or something.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping
is the dictator.
Told him where to go.
Dictator. Oh, yep. Basically,
told him where to go.
Well, you know, ever since we got the U.S. back, when we rounded up Huawei's daughter.
Yes.
I forget what her name is, but she was incarcerated, that's a different word. She was able to stay in a palatial residence in Vancouver.
She couldn't leave the country. Probably the province.
Now, compare that to the story of the two Michaels, Canadians held by China in prison.
Yeah, that was
and Xi Jinping dares to confront to confront Justin over Canada releasing the transcript of confidential talks. Not confidential, they were in private. That doesn't mean it's confidential. But Xi Jinping was upset, and his tone was a little intimidating. And no, Justin, you don't do those things.
What did he say?
Apparently, Trudeau gave a readout. Do you know when conversations are held?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Trump was in talking to Putin and he refused to have anybody give a readout of those meetings?
Yes.
Well, that's not how democracies work. That's how Putin works. It's how Xi Jinping works. It's how dictators work. But in Canada, we expect to see a readout of what was said to our Prime Minister, who represents all of Canada, regardless of how you feel about him. And Trudeau went to segue into that restatement that in Canada we do things differently, and Xi Jinping would have none of it and just shook his hands and took off, and Trudeau hastily retreated. I'm not sure that he had other places to go, but it looked like he was not going to stick around.
Why would you? There's sometimes there's just no reasoning. I mean, either the president or prime minister, whatever he is, of China is an idiot, or he
dictator for life.
Yeah, he knows our system is different, and doesn't his advisors, those very same people that spy on Hydro, the very same people that can completely copy SpaceX and all of our rockets, they haven't got the brains to explain to him. In Canada, it's open. It's an open society. It's a free society. So he's just doing that for the sake of Huawei, and the executives puffing up his chest. Because what's Canada going to do to China? Nothing.
Well, the commentary by former Canadian diplomats to China included the analysis that perhaps he was just showing his disdain for Canada because we did what the U.S. wanted us to do, which was legal, by the way. Everything we did.
Actually, it was more than legal. It was what we were obligated to do
under the law.
Under the law. We just obeyed the law. And again, the Chinese should know that. Those in high places should know that this is the law. Same as if you're going to be screwing over the United States, then don't fly into Canada. You should know that. Same as that if she was really caught with cannabis oil over in Russia, that athlete, the poor thing that's being sent off
Brittany
to
Griner.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a stupid thing to do if that's true. Even if it didn't have anything in it, just you got to really play your cards right in that country, especially when war is about to break out.
Democracies dealing with dictators might be a sub-theme for this thing. I wanted to focus on China treating Canada with this, what I would have called derision. And this was a photo op. This was intentionally, at least it looked like it, somebody with a cell phone caught this, and they leaked it too. So whoever did the leaking.
Well,
now, it's not a leak in a free country when you disclose the content of a conversation. That's just transparency.
Yeah.
But Xi Jinping would have none of it.
Well, again, if you're a leader, any leader now, you got to know, you got to watch what you're saying, because there's always someone willing to cash in on your screw-ups. It would have been a neat picture to see Trudeau maybe giving him a figure as he walked away or something, But on the other hand,
that's something that you and I might have done.
Yeah. On the other hand, we don't want to, I guess, wake the dragon either.
Yeah. So diplomacy is a tough thing, and in my opinion, Trudeau did what he needed to do. It was a proud Canadian moment, in my opinion. Standing up to the dragon is not easy. And the commentary that I mentioned earlier, the diplomats are saying you can bet he wouldn't have done that to Joe Biden.
Who wouldn't have done that?
Xi Jinping.
Oh, probably not. But that's okay. Canada has to know its place. I mean, we're not.
Yeah,
we're not the United States.
We're not the
Canada.
United States. However,
32 million, 35
I'm
million.
sure hoping Biden has Justin Trudeau's back on this one, because we got into this mess with Huawei because we were asked to, and because Canadian law required us to honor the treaty agreements with the United States.
Straightforward. There's nothing you can do.
No,
you can't change it just because some dictator wants you to. That's fortunate or unfortunate, whatever way you want to look at it. We have to do what we have to do. We have that agreement. We still have that agreement. So all you foreign dignitaries and various executives of companies, remember that. If the United States wants you and you fly into Canada and you're recognized, you're going to be detained.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Now, I'm going to shift the gears to talk about China becoming an unsavory world player. Not quite as bad as Russia or Iran or Kim Jong-un in North Korea, or perhaps Erdogan in Turkey. The list of rogues galleries of people who are dictators and their countries are not free goes on and on. But perhaps we should think about Canada now, having been burned a couple of times with the Huawei incident and the detainment of the two Michaels, and citizens being detained for spurious reasons. Brittany Griner from the United States, whether that's true or not, we don't know. But let's just say if you're traveling to an authoritarian country, if I was you, if I was any of these people, I would not be in any country other than where I needed to be, a democracy.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, even now, though I'm a nobody, right? But if I was a somebody, I'd definitely think twice before I'd ever go into Russia or China. It's just there's lots of places in this world you can go to. It'd be nice to visit everything if you wanted to, but make a smart decision. But even as just plain Jim Sampson at this point, I'd probably really think twice before I'd go into China or Russia or any other country like North Korea. You're asking for it. I mean, they just love to
incarcerate
randomly.
They
just love it.
pick
And that
you up and
poor American again. She's gone into a detainment camp, and apparently it's hell on earth. So that's just the Russians being
now, should we be switching?
Absolute jerks.
Should we be switching then from everything made in China for low-cost labor and resources that they have that they're willing to spend on making products for Walmart or whoever they're working for? Should we switch to, remember we had this TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, that was being worked out by Obama before the election of Trump, and the first thing Trump did was cancel this agreement? That's to work on the Pacific Rim trading area, excluding, if I'm not mistaken, as an alternative to China.
Yeah, I think, number one, I don't have too much of a problem about the low-paid workers, because if you take it away, they have no pay. I think it's disgusting, but they need the money. But the other thing is why would you, like, right now you have Tesla over there with a big factory, and in that factory, how do you know just at any time, willy-nilly, the Chinese government's going to say, no, it's now ours, or
Nationalize it.
nationalize it? So I wouldn't do any of that. And it's not our fault. It's those communist countries' faults.
Well, with any dictatorship, you take your chances when you do trade.
Did you say tater chips? Tater chips? Tater chips?
Dictatorships, yes. I prefer mine salted, maybe with a touch of malt
Had a whole
vinegar.
bag last night before I went to bed.
There you go. Jim and Terry Show, signing off. Bye-bye.